stopped speechless in my tracks looking at this video footage from Kiev and our recent socials on this last Ukraine tour, which was just, goodness, what is it? It's May, so last month, for crying out loud. This video footage isn't even a month old, guys. Isn't that amazing? It's about a month old. That's pretty fresh. You can't beat that, right? I get guys telling me all the time, "Bud, I know you've got 10,000 videos on your website, but when are you going to have new videos from Ukraine?" And here you go. I recognize some of those fine gentlemen, some friends of mine from previous tours. Our great manager from Odessa. Yeah, nice, nice. I love to see people meeting each other. I love to see, wow, that's some dancing. I probably should have watched this video before I did the webcast, guys, because I'm just going to stop and just go wow through the whole entire thing. I love watching people meet each other. I love watching people have a good time. I love watching who I know are lonely, overworked, single women who have, you know, nothing really to look forward to. I'm not trying to insult them anyway. I'm not trying to downplay, you know, or make their lives sound insignificant or anything like that. But it's so cool to see nice people meet each other. And these are lonely women who have no chance to meet somebody, but they're so social by nature and they have great interpersonal skills and they love to meet people from other cultures and other countries. They don't always get a chance to travel, often they don't, but they love to travel. They love to have a chance to just get out and meet people. But it's not like it's hard to meet them. It's not hard to strike up a conversation. Look how beautiful and healthy and wholesome they are. That is awesome. I love that. So forgive me, guys. I'm watching video footage from our socials for the first time from April, and it's just exciting and wonderful. It just reaffirms everything that I do and why I love to do it. And I'll see some old friends as I look at these videos. So here's the deal, guys. We're going to talk a little bit tonight. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to talk about the upcoming tours in July to Ukraine. After thinking about it through the week, I think that's a good topic for tonight. So I'll answer any questions that you guys have. And you can ask your questions by clicking the green box right above my head that tells you how to text me your question. And I'll see your question on my admin panel. And throughout the webcast tonight, I will be happy to read your questions aloud and answer them to the best of my ability. And I'll also kind of dissect and break down a little bit some of the video footage that you guys are watching, all right? How about it? Video footage from our most recent social in Kiev. It's great. I do see some familiar faces. That is really fabulous. Fabulous. All right, boys, here's the deal. If you want to go to Ukraine with us in July, I will be leading the 2 3-city tours that we have. We also package them together to create a 6-city tour. If you're crazy enough to do the 6-city tour, you need therapy. But believe me, fabulous experience. And I'll be happy to take you to Ukraine and share either or both of those tours with you if you want to go. Can you imagine me as your tour leader? What could be more fun? Honestly, I give such a great tour. We have so much fun. I can tell you right now, I already know half the guys who are going in July. Some friends of mine, previous tour clients and gentlemen that I've met and have gotten to know through a series of seminars that I've done. And we're going to have an incredibly fabulous, fun, hilarious, awesome group of guys. So you will travel to Ukraine. You will meet incredibly beautiful women in mind-numbingly high numbers. You will be hanging out with some of the nicest, coolest dudes you've gotten to know in a long time. There will be camaraderie and friendships that last beyond the tour. There certainly will be romance that lasts beyond the tour. You're going to see a great part of Eastern Europe. You're going to eat some incredibly awesome food, and you get to hang with me. So what fun. I would be very lucky to meet you and have you on my tour. If you're interested, reach out and talk to us, guys. We don't have a lot of time. The tour's in July. I'll be doing 2 more seminars. I'll talk about those in a little bit. I want to get to your questions, and I want to show you some really cool things on video tonight. So I mentioned that we had a recent tour in Ukraine, and we brought back some cool video footage. And Joe, our tour leader, one of our tour leaders, local police officer who's led a bunch of our tours, and he'll be leading tours again in September, I believe, for those of you who are looking at September as a time frame to go to Ukraine. And so Joe came in today and he sat down with John, our CEO, and they talked about this most recent trip to Ukraine and tours in general and the behavior of men on tours and, you know, some of the things that we encourage men to do and how they work in practice, best practices, if you will, for men to be effective in their dating. And it's a great conversation and it's fresh. We just recorded it a few hours ago. I think we're still kind of uploading it more or less. So I need a few minutes to see if we'll have a chance to do this, but we've got a great testimonial from one of our great clients. His name is John. He talked about the tour as well, and you need to see this. You guys constantly need to see positive thinking guys having good experiences and talking about it, because let me tell you something. There are a lot of dysfunctional knuckleheads out there trying to meet Ukrainian women, going to Ukraine, doing nothing but crashing, like coming out of a low ceiling in a vertical dive crashing. And having no success whatsoever. And I'm sorry if it's crass to say, but the easiest thing to do is to blame everybody but yourself. And, you know, I had a guy who showed up in the middle of my seminar and just kind of went off on the whole entire industry and fake this and fake that. But he clearly had anger. I'm sorry, he clearly had some huge anger issues. I felt sorry for him, I really did. If he had met me before he had traveled, I could have definitely saved him some money and some time and some frustration. Maybe we'll have a chance to work together going forward. I offered that to him, and we'll see how it goes. But the point is, there's negative all over the place. Negative comments, negative this, negative reviews. Everybody, you can tell, there are some people in life whose glass is always half empty. And there are some people in life whose glass is always half full. And I'm telling you what, man, you can do this. You can do it happily. You can do it successfully. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can have the most exciting romance you ever dreamed of having, real love and happiness in your life. But if you're going to do this, your glass has got to be half full, man, all the time. And you don't need to be talking to guys whose glass is always half empty, because they're going to do nothing but point out the smallest negative detail, blow it up out of proportion, and just frustrate the crap out of you. Look, if you were going to learn any skill at all, if you were going to learn carpentry, would you take lessons from a bad carpenter? If you were going to learn anything, how to fly airplanes, how to drive a car, would you go and learn from somebody who had a miserable experience, didn't learn from it, and does nothing but verbally vomit all over the internet about his bad experience? That's not going to help you. You need to talk to people who are successful. There is a reason why people are successful when they're successful. So anyway, the point is, we've got a great referral. You need to hear it and watch it from our great client and friend John, who did the tour in April with Joe. So we'll watch John's interview in a moment. Hopefully I'll show you Joe and John Adams, our CEO. Kirk's telling me, Kirk is amazing, man. You know what, guys, honestly, if everybody had a guy like Kirk, nothing would ever break, nothing would ever go wrong, everything would always work as it should. Steve says, wait, now you tell me I'm crazy for signing up for 6 cities. Crazy good, Steve. Crazy good, my friend, right? You know, there's a good crazy, you'll be okay, I promise. All right, I'm going to answer a few questions, and then we're going to watch a video interview with our client, John, who toured with us recently, last month, in Ukraine, so he can speak to you about what that experience is like. Meanwhile, as we're answering your questions and talking about some stuff tonight, we're watching video footage from that recent tour and other recent tours to Ukraine. Bob says, but I've always been nervous around girls. What kind of self-talk do you tell yourself to relax and speak to girls? Bob, that is such a great question. You know, to be honest with you, it's hard in our culture sometimes for men to be confident, even though you have a lot to be confident about. Think about it. I know in my life, if I don't have somebody pointing out my strengths, I have to remind myself of what my strengths are. In fact, sometimes I really get a little carried away and I sound like I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, so I'm just kind of overcompensating sometimes. You know, and usually I have friends that point that out and bring me back down to earth. So I think if you have people in your life whose opinion you trust, whoever that is, friends, relatives, female employees, associates, colleagues, whoever, I think it's perfectly okay to have a cup of coffee and say, look, I know this is kind of a funny question, but I'm going to ask you, what do you think are my strengths? Socially, professionally, you know, strengths as a man in a relationship, if you've been in a relationship with somebody, or they've observed you in a relationship with somebody, and write them down. You'd be amazed sometimes the things that people say about you that never occurred to you that are really, really important. So start with your friends and close associates and people whose opinion you trust, Bob, and ask them, tell me please, what do you think are my strengths? I'm asking for a specific reason. Write them down. I bet if you do that with 4 or 5 people, Bob, people will tell you some things that never occurred to you. And that'll be a blessing, right? So start with that so that you already know what other people think of you and you're getting some compliments, and that'll be great. And then you ask those same people, let me tell you what I think some of my strengths are, and tell me if you agree. And here are some of my strengths. I think I'm a good-hearted guy. I think kindness is a strength. I think I'm noble. I think I'm consistent. I think I do the things I say I'm going to do. I think I'm masculine. I think I'm a strong man and people can lean on me and rely on me. My word is solid. I'm really good at friendship. I'm really good at problem solving. I'm a good provider. I'm a good earner. I'm a hard worker. I've got a good relationship in my community. Does any of that apply to you? Ask your friends. Ask your closest colleagues and associates, what do you think? Do I have these things? And you absolutely will get backed up. You know what's great? Do a LinkedIn profile if you don't already have one, Bob, and select a few of your strengths, and then let your friends and colleagues find you and complement your other strengths. So your LinkedIn profile will allow you to offer, I think I'm a good leader. I think I'm a good manager. I think I'm a good public speaker. I think I'm a good trainer, a good coach. And there are all kinds of other strengths that are there for other people to select, right? I met Bud. I think he's a great life coach. Pow, right? Or I met Bud. I think he's an amazing whatever. Pow. He's a great cook. Boom, whatever it is. And let other people complement your strengths in public, in a public forum. That'll be a big booster for you, right? So those are some things that you can do, Bob, that'll just kind of help your self-esteem. But where women are concerned, they're going to ask you at some point, what do we need to know about you? What are your strengths? What do you have to offer somebody? And don't be shy, Bob, all right? If you're a good provider, point it out. If you keep your word, you know what, man, that's a premium, that really is. If you think you're a noble guy and you stand for something, you have core values, and when you're in times of crisis, your core values are unshakable, that's huge. That is huge, my friend. All of those subjective things are very, very important. If you care about yourself physically, if you notice you're gaining a few pounds and you go up and you take a walk, right? So you can lose those few pounds. You take care of yourself. You don't let your self-esteem get out of control and find yourself in a place you're not comfortable with. You manage those things. You manage your relationships well. You've got good friendships. You've got good relationships with your employer and your community. One thing that women notice in this environment, guys, is how you talk about the people around you. You may not realize it, but if you talk badly about your ex, badly about your job, badly about your friends, this was done wrong to me, this was done wrong, I don't have a good relationship there, women pick up on that. And no matter how much credit they want to give you, well, I'm sure it's not your fault. Yes, I'm sure that you're right about that. There's going to be that little voice in the back of their head that says, maybe something's wrong here, maybe I don't have the complete picture. So when you speak positively about other relationships and people in your life, women pick up on that. It's positive energy. Women love that. They really do. I hope that's helpful, my friend. You have far more strengths, Bob. Far more strengths than you even realize. So do not be shy about that. Get out there, talk to some people, and let them back you up. Great question. Mark says, Bud, I'm thinking of going to the Philippines. Is there someone from the Arizona office meeting me in Cebu? I am from Broadbrook, Connecticut. Mark, I've got good news. We have an extremely capable manager in Cebu. Her name is Helen. She's from the Philippines. She lived in the United States in Chicago for many, many years, and she is fabulous. She and her staff will be operating your tour in Cebu, and they will meet you right at the airport as soon as you land. So whenever you're ready to book a trip to the Philippines, you'll let us know. I've certainly had people here in the Philippines, people in our office in Phoenix who are from the Philippines or who have been to the Philippines and have been to Cebu. And they definitely can talk to you to just give you some good travel advice and best practices. But you'll be in incredibly good hands, Mark. We have high rates of engagement and marriage from the Philippines, and all of those are orchestrated by our great partner Helen and her staff. All right, Dave says, can't wait to book my trip to Medellin in August. Right on, Dave. I know who you are and I appreciate you. Looking forward to it. Actually, I've spoken to two ladies. Whoop, where'd you go? Come back. Spoken to two ladies from Medellin via email on the website, and I can't wait. And it's great to be excited, isn't it? And it's great to know August is right around the corner, man. August will be here before you know it, my friend. And you're already in contact with ladies. And one of the things that you're able to tell the ladies is, I'm going to be in your city in a short amount of time. So if we invest in time and emotion to write to each other, and we develop a fondness and an interest in each other through correspondence, that will go somewhere. Because you know what, guys? For tens of thousands of women, I'm not kidding, who get correspondence from tens of thousands of guys, they invest their time and their emotion in that correspondence, never comes to anything, because a lot of guys are writing letters with no idea what their next move is. And it's not all their fault. There's a lot of confusing information on the internet, and some guys just have never traveled outside of the U.S. before, and there are some things to overcome. So it's not all their fault. But there clearly are tens of thousands of men in a virtual correspondence relationship comfort zone. I think that I just think it's an epidemic. I really do. I think it's a disease. in our culture. But that ain't you, my brother. You're going. Good for you. And I'm proud of you, and I'm thankful for you. So we just need to make sure you have a good experience when you're on your way to Medellin, Dave. So make sure you and I talk before you go to Medellin and make sure you're getting ready for it, all right? It's going to be great to have you go. All right, guys, a few more questions, and then I want to watch a great interview testimonial from one of our clients. We are so thankful for every testimonial that we get. They're golden, not only to us, of course, from our business, but they're great for all of you guys who are out there wondering if this is real, what's it really like. You know, for someone who just did a romance tour with us, what was your experience? How were the women? Did you feel safe? Did you get dates? What was that like? And it's hard for us to conceptualize it, but it helps so much when guys give us their testimonial. And thank God there are guys that are out there that understand that, you know, there are many, many, many men who are right where they were before they traveled with us. One of the things I love watching in these videos that you got to watch, guys, right? Man, I can't take my eyes off this video. It's going to be hard to get through this webcast, but I'm going to do it. One of the things that I like to watch, when you watch the men and the women talking to each other and you see how comfortable they are, the interaction, the close proximity to one another, right? They're right next to each other, sometimes touching each other, caressing each other, that cute little flirtation, those wonderful little body language movements that show that they accept and they like and they want more. And when you see them smiling and how friendly they are, I want you to understand that these are people who just met. These are men and women who literally just met at our social event, 5, 10, 15 minutes into the conversation. Isn't that great? Wouldn't you love to look that comfortable with a girl that you find incredibly attractive and interesting in 15 minutes? Isn't that cool? Of course it is. All right, one or two more questions, and then we're going to watch that testimonial. Dave says, will somebody pick me up at the airport in Medellin? Yeah, absolutely. If you show up in anywhere we go, guys, when you book a tour or a club travel package with us, anywhere we go in the world, and you arrive at the airport, you can't wander around and get lost. They won't let you. So you're going to get your luggage, then you're going to get your passport stamped by customs, or passport control as they call it. And then there's usually just one door you can go out, and it's not big. Right on the other side of that door, our staff will be waiting for you with a sign with your name on it. We'll take you to your hotel, get to know our staff a little bit. It doesn't matter what time of the day or night it would be. It'd be really lovely if you could arrive like before midnight, but if you have to catch a late flight, just let us know, and we'll make an arrangement for our staff to pick you up when you land, whenever that is. Just get where you're going, guys, all right? Yeah, man, my brother Mel, who I love, said that we had a good conversation this week, and he's sending me some love, so right back at you, Mel. So would like to know what you're deciding, and I'm really thankful for Melvin, man. I love Melvin. Melvin's an awesome guy. If you met Melvin, you would love him too. We're really blessed. You know, honestly, I had a seminar over the weekend. I had a lot of incredibly lovely dudes. I had one ridiculous angry bird who showed up for an hour, and that was fine. I feel sorry for the angry birds. They don't offend me and they don't upset me at all. I just feel sorry for them. But I really love the good guys that we have on our tours. I don't know. We had a couple of guys that were a little strange on pretty much every tour that I did for a few years, and they all went away. And I don't know how that happened. I really don't. But I'm telling you guys, one of the blessings that I have is doing what I do, and it's usually with a very large group of extremely cool guys, to a man. And I love that. It's a privilege, it really is, to show really nice guys, these incredibly nice women, let them meet each other, let good things happen. Yeah, man, I can do that all day, and I usually do. All right. One more question, Bud. This is from Robert. I'm one of those guys that's tried to do it on my own and crashed. Robert, you are in incredibly good company, my friend. I'm still convinced the women of Ukraine are beyond compare. I will be on the September tour. I want to make every effort to prepare to be successful. When do you recommend I begin working with a dating coach? Dude, good for you, Robert. So if you're going on the September tour, I think July, the mid-July through August is a good time to start working with a dating coach. Obviously, Renee Piani is phenomenal. She can definitely help you. Tell you what, my friend, you and I can have a conversation or two, and we can just talk about some things that are going to be really impactful for you to make sure you feel like Bon Jovi when you hit it in Ukraine, all right? So let's make sure you reach out to us and we have some direct conversation, okay? All right, guys, I'll save the next couple of questions for a few minutes from now. But one thing I want to say before I forget, if my friend Charles from Seattle is watching, my young friend Charles, who I met at the Seattle seminar, he'd been watching our webcasts, and man, you know, every now and then I meet somebody, I meet a young man, he just impressed me so much with his great attitude and his great demeanor and personality. And I'm sorry if it is what it is. I'm just going to say it, but he totally reminded me of one of my sons. Just a brilliant kid, and I loved him. I really did. You know, you meet somebody and you see this enormous potential. If I get that dude in front of some of these women, that is such a slam dunk. And anyway, Charles, you sent me an email. I'm going to respond to you tomorrow. I deeply apologize. I've had 4 or 5 completely insane days. Every single day I think about you and how badly I want to respond to your email. So hang with me, brother. One more day. By tomorrow, I will definitely reach back to you a long, thoughtful response. And I'm really thankful that you're here. All right. All right, so guys, as we're watching some of this video of socials in Ukraine, I'll point this out a little bit later on because it will come up again, I'm sure. But last February, I did a seminar in Tampa, and I had about 40 guys in the room. And one of the guys sat in the front row, and he was very nice, but he was a little nervous, maybe a lot nervous, because I'm pretty sure he asked me about 100 questions. And he wore me out, but it was a good wearing out. And his name was Henry. And Henry booked the April tour. This is a man of action, right? This guy shows up at my seminar, asks a bajillion questions, gets his answers, processes the information, makes a commitment to travel, gets on a plane, and there he is in the white shirt right there, life of the party. So when I met Henry at my seminar in Tampa, I could have judged him incorrectly, but I thought extremely nice guy. But, you know, there's definitely a comfortable social Henry, but my Henry seemed just a little bit, not sure he was ready for this, right? And when I watch Henry feeling like Bon Jovi, the life of the party, you know, in these videos, he's meeting so many women. He's incredibly comfortable. He is fly. I love it. I love it. It's just so cool to see that transformation. And clearly the women like Henry. They like meeting him. He's having fun. He's comfortable in his skin. And look at the women that he's meeting. Don't you love that? I mean, don't you love that, right? I don't know what he's doing there, but he's kind of standing in a corner. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if we filmed him in the men's room or what, but what is that, Kirk? That's kind of bizarre. Any idea? I think we filmed him in the men's room. I really do. Okay, anyway, that just threw me. I got to stop watching the video so I can get through the webcast. But anyway, Henry's awesome. And guys, all I'm saying is that I love to watch that transformation. I totally love to watch somebody go from, I'm not sure if I can do this. One of my favorite stories is that I had a trainer for UFC fighters on one of my tours in Odessa several years ago. And he was huge. He was twice my size, big, handsome guy in a suit, just looked amazing everywhere we went. For the first 24 hours, he was a sure, cocky guy, right? What you expect from a UFC fighter trainer guy. And we're walking to the social in Odessa. We're marching up to the social in Odessa. We get 5 feet from the door, and he's like, I can't do this. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do? No, I can't do this. I'm not comfortable. You're not comfortable? Where are you comfortable? In the ring? Getting punched? Get in there! And he met a translator who worked for us for 10 years and was one of our best translators ever. He fell in love and they got married, and it's a great story, and I'm really, really happy for him. I love to watch that transformation. It's really fun. All right, so we did a tour recently in Ukraine. Our great client John sat down and did an interview testimonial with Joe, our tour leader from Phoenix. It's a great testimonial. Watch this. Dang it. Sorry guys, we're having a little audio thing, but we'll try and fix that. But meanwhile, as I mentioned earlier, we also had a discussion filmed today between Joe, our tour leader, who's done many tours for us, and John, our CEO. And it's a great, frank discussion of two people who are really passionate about helping people meet others in Ukraine. And so I want you to watch that discussion. I haven't had a chance to really listen to the discussion. It's been a crazy day here, but I know it was a good, deep discussion. So we'll watch that. We'll fix the audio on the interview with our client, John, and come back to that. So let's watch John, our CEO, talking with Joe, our tour leader. This was filmed today, just a couple of hours ago. It's Monday, guys. What can I say, right? But I got MacGyver on it, so just bear with us, and we'll come back to it when the audio is fixed on both of those, all right? So in the meanwhile, I want to answer some more of your questions and talk a little bit more about what you're watching, and we'll get our audio corrected. It's probably something kind of small. So we'll have that fixed for you shortly, and then we'll dive in, all right? As much as we can, as much as time allows. Let's have your questions. Click the green box above me and send your questions to me so I can answer them for you. Guys, look, if you're a good guy with good old-fashioned family values, a healthy respect for women and relationships, if you have realistic expectations, especially around age difference, and you can get on a plane and go and get your girl, go get your girl. You can come with me in July to Ukraine. I will be the best tour guide you can possibly hope for. I will show you all the good places to eat. That's pretty much a given. That's all I do on tours. We'll have a great time together, guys. We'll have an incredible time together in July, a life-defining time you will not soon forget, you will enjoy every minute of, and you'll talk about it for years and years and years, and you have an excellent chance. If you possess all the qualities I just outlined for you, you have an excellent chance of finding your life mate, finding the love of your life. If you're not so nice, I really don't have anything to do with that, okay? But if you're a good guy with a good heart, I think a lot of you are, because that's just who we attract a lot of the time. Just nice guys who, for whatever reason, haven't had the chance to find their life mate yet, right? You're doing everything you can. You're not doing everything wrong. But look, you have technology that's available to you. For the love of God, use it. Get on a tour. Get out in front of these women. Look at these beautiful women. Count the women and the men in the room. There are far, far more women than men, and they want to meet somebody, and they'd love to meet you. They really would if you possess all of those qualities. Some guys are really intimidated by the video, and right, these are some pretty beautiful women, right? Absolutely. So some guys are kind of intimidated by that. What you don't know is that there are so many beautiful women in Ukraine. Beauty really is no commodity to a woman in Ukraine at all. It really isn't. Now, we appreciate them for being beautiful, and we appreciate how much effort they take into looking that great, how much effort they put into their appearance and keeping themselves just looking so amazing and alluring and irresistible. We admire that, the way you go to a museum and you admire a classic painting, right? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But what you don't know, or what you might observe in our video, and what you're going to hear from our testimonials here shortly, is that not only are they very beautiful, but they're very, very approachable. It's easy to talk to them. They're incredibly easy to talk to. They're very, very social women. They like to meet nice American men. They're not so crazy about not so nice American men, but they like to meet the nice American men. And I point that out because if you're a nice guy, this is an environment where you have value. You really do. Tremendous value. And there are days when you think you can't get a date with somebody that you really like and admire, that you don't have value here in our culture, and nobody seems to want you or your love. But I'm telling you, my friend, if you're a good guy with a good heart and you've got love to give, there is value in that love, and you will feel that when you travel. Wow, familiar faces. I love it. All right. All right, let me get a few more of your questions, your brilliantly asked questions, as we wait for a testimonial that I hope to show you. You're looking at video from our recent socials in Ukraine from April. Bob asks, is it okay to tell the girl when you're a bit nervous? Yeah, it's okay. I don't know why you would do that, but I understand what you're asking, Bob, right? It's okay if you let a girl know you're a little bit nervous. That will, in some ways, that will kind of confuse her, because she won't understand why in the world are you nervous, because they don't understand how, we become a little nervous and a little stressed when we're trying to approach beautiful women in our culture, because oftentimes, advances aren't welcome, right? Women who are beautiful in our culture, if they want to meet somebody, they can. It's very easy to do. And so sometimes they have to kind of create this little invisible wall around them, and they're not always approachable, and it's not their fault. And so sometimes we try to approach somebody that doesn't go well, and that kind of bothers us a little bit. We're not sure if it's us or them or a cultural thing. But what I can tell you is that when you get on a plane and travel to Ukraine, travel to China, travel to the Philippines, you can meet so many women who are incredibly easy to walk up to and say hi. They don't come to a social to stand there all night long and not talk to anybody, guys. That's the last thing they want. So they're looking at you and hoping that you'll come over and say, hi, how are you? My name is Bob. How's it going? Just wanted to meet you. What's your name? Great name. Listen, I really admire your dress. It's absolutely beautiful. That dress in a mall, in a store, on a hanger would be okay, but it looks absolutely smashing on you. Really love your eyes, love your hair color. I just thought you had such style and pizzazz and presence, and you really stood out, so I just wanted to say hi. Just begin a conversation that way. You will have a partner matchmaker at every social, guys. You will have a young lady working for you to make sure you're getting introduced to the women you want to meet. And so you're never on your own, right? You're never an orphan. You're never out on an island trying to meet the women. We will definitely help you with that. Rick says, is it worth using the executive service, which is our high-level matchmaking program? Is it possible to combine that with a tour? Yes, it's definitely worth it, Rick. And yes, you can definitely combine it with a tour. Going to Kiev and continue to Odessa, absolutely, dude. Here's why it's of value to you. The executive program is a high-level matchmaking program. It costs 15 grand to do it, plus some travel expenses, so it's not cheap, but it's highly, highly effective. And it's the kind of program where we will assign to you a matchmaking partner. You'll be Skyping and chatting, and talking to women, a good 5, 6, 7, 8 of them whom you find to be really, really compatible based on your profile as we send it out to them and they respond to it. So by the time you get on the plane and go and meet the women you've been chatting with and Skyping with and talking with, you've developed a lot of chemistry and a lot of rapport. You are miles ahead of other people who are just meeting, even though quite frankly you can meet anybody at any time in this process and find your life mate. Most people find their life mate on our tours, but our executive program is highly successful as well. So absolutely, Rick, you definitely can do that. And if you want to talk more about that, dial me up, dude. Let's talk about it. Mark asks, how do you know if a woman is really interested in you when you're meeting about 300 women? Well, so here's the deal, Mark. You're going to meet a lot of women, and they have pride. They really do. They're not going to raise their hand and jump up and down and say, pick me, pick me. But you're definitely going to get signals. They're going to smile. When you talk to them, they're going to look right at you, right in your eye. If you move around, they're going to wait for your gaze to come back to them. They're going to respond positively. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to give you, positive affirmations when you answer a question they ask you or say a little bit about you. So, wow, how interesting. What an interesting job you have. What do you like about your job? Wow, I really like that answer. They're going to give everything they possibly can other than jump in your lap to let you know that they like you. It's rare that women you meet at the social don't like you. They're there to meet somebody. And unless you're completely in the tank or an angry bird, angry at the world, they're going to like you, dude. It's more a matter of who you like and who you want to meet. But it's perfectly okay to ask somebody, to say to somebody, I really like you. I just wondered, are you attracted to me? Do you like me? Would you like to spend some more time together? What would that look like if we spent more time together? What would you like to do on a date? It's perfectly okay to ask that. Another thing you can do, guys, since every social you're at, everywhere we go in the world, you have a partner matchmaker with you. Tell your partner matchmaker, hey, look, if you get the sense that somebody likes me, just give me a little nudge with the elbow or something, right? Or just look at me and wink, or do something, but let me know. Whisper in my ear, I don't care. Just let me know that this girl likes me, right? It's not like every girl has to be clawing at your, pants singing, why not take all of me, in order for you to know that she likes you, right? You'll know that she likes you, for crying out loud. There are all kinds of ways for these girls to let you know. Dude, you will know, believe me. And if you have any doubts, just ask her. Do the restaurants serve organic food? Is grass-fed beef available? Hey, I need to eat at some point. All right, so Stephen, grass-fed beef is a great idea. Some restaurants will certainly have that. The food in Ukraine and in a lot of countries where we go is so organic, when they pull it out of the ground, it's still got dirt on it, for crying out loud. I mean, you will go to restaurants, you will go to supermarkets. This would be kind of a weird thing at restaurants, but you'll go to supermarkets and you'll be in the produce section and some of the vegetables still have dirt on them. They don't wax them up like we do here in America. And people in Ukraine like to eat very healthily. They don't like a lot of chemicals involved in their food. Their food system in Ukraine and in China and other places is incredibly healthier than a lot of what you'll find in America. What airport do we use in Ukraine? The good news is, Alan, you can go to any airport in Ukraine and we'll pick you up there, all right? It's usually Borispol, Zuleni. What does that say? Testimony ready, it says. Okay, cool. So just get yourself to Ukraine, my friend, and let us know where you're going to be and when, and we will pick you up there, my brother. I promise you that, okay? All right, Kirk tells me that we have that testimonial from John ready to go. The audio is fixed, so let's dial it up. Here we go.
Well, John, we're in Nikolaev. So tell me, this being your second tour, how did you actually find a foreign affair?
Well, just looking on the internet, of course. I'd written letters I'd actually come over to Kiev, learned a little Russian, which was fun, and had a couple dates, but didn't quite go successful. You just got one interpreter, one date, one short meeting. Hard to make a connection.
That was before you came over with the foreign
This was
affair?
before I did foreign affair. You know, you think you got some connection with emails, and you don't. But I stayed, learned a little Russian, which is great. Learned how to be nice and polite. After that didn't work, that's when I got back on the internet, and I found Foreign Affair, loveme.com, and you guys do the tour. And I still wasn't finding anything at home. And still time's ticking. So I said, all right, well, I gotta keep pushing, otherwise nothing's gonna happen. And came over, did a Foreign Affair, which was really nice to see, have some other people to support me over here, help, you know, experienced, good advice, meet them actually in person. And then of course, if I, you know, thought I liked one, maybe things didn't work out exactly. Well, I got to continue to meet other people in person and other girls, and it works a lot better than writing, you know, pictures and hope. So
the tour, you thought you got everything you needed from a foreign affair. It was actually organized very well for you.
absolutely. Well, you guys actually appreciate, you know, some feedback and try to make your clients happy, which I'm not sure. I don't think any other sites do care for customer satisfaction, which you know, you guys do, continue to. So I'm all for it.
What is it about the Ukrainian women that you find so fascinating?
Well, Ukrainian women make an effort to look good. That's nice. It helps. There's a ton of beautiful women over here, and you know, they make an effort. And just like back home, you got to do a little searching to find a girl that's genuine. But there's plenty of them. The people are absolutely wonderful, and you've got options for the first time. Back, you know.
They are intelligent women.
Instead of back home where I feel like, oh, I found a decent one, I better grab onto her. You know, now I say, oh, well, I actually have a choice, you know. I like you. Oh, she's great. She's got a wonderful personality. Oh, I love this one. She's so much fun. And they're all beautiful. So.
Have you been successful so far?
I've been successful here and there. I mean, you know, to continue to communication. I had some important things I had to do after the last trip, so I had to jump on that. And well, then as soon as I could in this spring, here I am.
So it's your second tour.
Yeah.
Okay, going well.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this, okay? I mean, there's a lot of guys looking at this video right now,
All right.
deciding whether or not they should jump on a plane or just continue being the keyboard Romeos they are. What advice could you give them right now?
Well, my advice would be not to write it. Write another letter if it keeps you motivated, but it's not going to. You're not going to get anywhere writing letters. And by all means, come over here, have a good time, meet the first one. You can meet the one you've been writing, and then if that doesn't work out, well, that's why you've got the tour.
Exactly.
So, and listen to the advice that they give you at the agency, because they give you great advice so that you don't make mistakes that other people have made. But by all means, the women are here, the people here are absolutely wonderful. If you learn a little bit of Russian just to be polite, it's absolutely wonderful. They appreciate it. But they're just wonderful people. I'm happy here all the time. So
No war going on around?
oh, my father thought, oh, it's so dangerous over there, and time and time again, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I've been here, 5 times now because I came before I found AFA, and there was never any worry about anything. Everything's completely fine. Totally safe. It's all just in people's heads that, that some war, that it's too dangerous, or. But by all means, don't write letters. Come over here, meet the girl. Don't waste your time if you're thinking about it.
Just do it.
Just do it, by all means. It's an adventure too. It's something fun to put under your belt. So.
That's great. Well, John, it's been a pleasure having you, man. You're a good guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Isn't that a great testimonial, guys, right? Look, John has some advantages, obviously, right? He's a young, handsome guy. You can imagine how much the women enjoy that. And you don't have to be young, and you don't have to have John's great looks to be successful with women in Ukraine. You just have to be a positive thinking, nice guy. Everybody has their own unique set of strengths and something to offer somebody in a relationship. And if you're watching me right now, you definitely do, whoever you are. There's no doubt about it. And those things are incredibly valuable, maybe not in your hometown, but definitely in other places around the world. And the things that you might look for in a relationship, which people around you are rejecting, you know what? Women in Ukraine, that might be exactly what they're looking for in a relationship. So you really hold the key to someone's happiness and someone's future. That is a great testimonial. John's right about so many things, and he said that we solicit feedback. It's not always easy to do that, guys. Sometimes the feedback you get means there's an opportunity that you have to embrace, but we embrace opportunities. And the most important thing is to get the feedback, to act on it where we need to. And again, I listened to John's testimony, and I'm just so incredibly thankful that our marketing, our programs, all the hard work that we do, the insane amount of money that we spend on advertising, the completely absurd mountain of money that we spend on advertising and marketing draws people like him and you to us. I'm really, really thankful for that. What a great testimonial. I hope that empowered you. Let me answer some more of your fine questions. Carlos, we're going to be together, my friend, in July in Ukraine. He says, what is a realistic age expectation? Age difference, 20, 25 years. I get emails from 18 or 22-year-old girls, but I'm 54. Is it a little too much? Answer, yes. It is, Carlos. Look, if I owned a marriage agency, which I don't, but if this were Bud's Blushing Russian Brides or something like that, I wouldn't have 18 or 22-year-olds on I wouldn't do that. That's just crazy. It's just crazy. But some people decide that that's okay, and they're there. But that doesn't mean you have to respond to it, right? You're the man. You're the one in control. You know what's right for you. At the age of 54, you should be meeting women who are 30 and above. And if you go any lower than that, you're probably setting yourself up for something disingenuous or something that's just not going to go in the direction that you want it to go in. So I don't care what letters you're getting, my friend. Trust my advice on this. I've done 17 years worth of romance tours, 22 of them to Ukraine alone. Just write to the women who are 30 and above, 32, 33 and above. People will say, but I want to have children. Great. Got good news for you. Women in their 30s, women in their 40s can have children if they want to. So just go meet the women who are 30 and above, Carlos, and you'll have a great, great experience. Another question. Carlos says, I'm emailing some women, but some women want to meet one-on-one rather than come to the social. How can I respond to that? At every one of our social events, every one of our singles tours, we combine individual introductions with dates that you're going to arrange as a result of our singles parties. So when you go to our social events, you are definitely going to meet women in the room. Look at this video. Of course you're going to meet, they're there to meet you so you can go out on dates. You are definitely going to get dates. If you come into the social, hide under the sofa, and don't come out until the end, you might not get a date. But I still think there's an excellent chance you're going to get a date before you get out of there. Otherwise, you are getting dates from the social events. If there are other women that you want to meet who can't make it to the social or who don't come, we'll call them up for you and invite them to meet you for coffee, for lunch, for dinner, whatever you want to do. And you're going to have a number of dates from each process, Carlos. So you bring your list of profiles of ladies you would like to meet who are 30 and above, because that's what Bud told you to do. And we will call those women all day long for you, my friend, and keep you as busy as you want to be. David from the Great White North. Beautiful man. I love him dearly. For many of us, he's reminding me the thought of international travel can be a little scary. In fact, half of our clients on every tour in 8 countries all year long have never been outside of the U.S. before. I love introducing men to this whole entire realm, especially when they've never been out of the U.S. before, because that is just sensory overload, man. You know what I'm saying? But I really love to show people, here's what the rest of the world looks like. When we do a tour like this, that is a huge kick for me. So Dave says, possibly, this might be the first time out of the country for a number of men. Does AFA ever help the tour members to pair up or even group up for trip overseas and return trip? In other words, if I know I'm going on a tour, do you help me to get in touch with other men who are on that same tour so that we might meet each other and travel together? And I'm all for that, absolutely all for that. So if you're traveling on a tour, I will send an email out to some other guys saying, guys, I got a gentleman on your tour and he's just wondering if any of you are from this area or, you know, considering this flight path, would you like to meet at JFK or Atlanta and fly together to Ukraine, for example? I'm absolutely all for helping you guys network together so you can travel together if you're a little bit nervous about that. So absolutely, David, great question. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to point that out. David's traveled with us before, so he definitely understands what some of your questions and needs are. Brandon says, Bud, Brandon from Florida. July's almost here. Brandon came to my seminar. He's been to, he went to Cartagena, I believe, right? Went to Colombia, had a great tour there, and now he's going with me to Ukraine in July after attending one of my seminars last year. I feel like it's going to be Christmas in July. My friend, you are correct. Again, Brandon, extremely nice looking, good guy, extremely good guy. Loves the new video footage. Yeah, dude. Brandon, seriously, man. Good times are coming. Rob says the women in the new video are beautiful. Are there any older women, say late 40s or 50s, that attend? I'm in my 60s and not looking for too big of an age gap. Rob, first of all, number one, you are completely brilliant. You really are. Because the biggest mistake that men make when they go to Ukraine is they just get a little silly when it comes to age difference and they start dating women or try to date women who are 25 or 30 years in age difference. The women in Ukraine are rarely ever going to go for that. Genuinely. But the good news is there are women in their 40s. There are some women in their 50s, even though they certainly don't look in their 50s. I don't know how many women we have in our 60s, but you can definitely meet women in their 40s and 50s who are stunning. The good news or the bad news is nobody's dating them. Even guys who absolutely should be dating them, nobody is. So it's all yours, my friend. If you go on a tour with me or a tour with our friend Joe, we'll make sure that you meet plenty of women who are exactly in the age range that you're looking for. I bet many of them are lonely and haven't been romanced in a long time, and you definitely can do that, my friend. My friend Mel says that he met John, who just gave us the testimonial, young John, last month. Very nice guy, knows what he's talking about. The camaraderie and the brotherhood and the community that we create together, guys, is quite unique. There's nothing like it, right? Yeah, man. Ryan says, were you going to talk about scams tonight? Thank you, Ryan. So last week, somebody asked a question about scams, like taxi scams. When do you pay too much for a taxi? Or when do you pay too much for an interpreter? Or when do you pay too much for dinner? And the truth is that there are scams out there that happen to gentlemen on tours sometimes. You know, when you travel on a tour, we're going to give you a lot of very helpful information. And if you just listen to it, there's an excellent chance you won't encounter any of those scams. So the thing is, I thought about, gee, we should talk about scams. But the truth is, if you're going to do a tour with us, I will have all of you prepared for how to avoid any potential scams anywhere that we go. For example, when you go to Ukraine, and you're dating women who are into you and they like you and there's good chemistry and true attraction because they're age-appropriate women, I will tell everybody, Joe will do the same thing, John will do the same thing when we lead our tours, I will point out 7 or 8 restaurants in every city and tell you to take your girls to one of those restaurants. If they won't go to one of those restaurants, then don't date them. Simple as that. Follow that advice and you will avoid any of the so-called restaurant scams that are out there. And 99% of the time, the women completely don't care. They'll go where you want to go. So it's not really an issue. Where taxis are concerned, I'll tell you what, that's a little bit, it's interesting. Because frequently guys think they're paying too much for a taxi when the truth is they're not. Now sometimes you pay a little more to a taxi than you need to. Sometimes. I can't say it doesn't really happen. But there are also times when you're really not paying such an exorbitant amount as you thought. So what's an exorbitant amount? You know, Kiev, for example, is a big city, right? To go from one side of Kiev to the other could take you an hour or more. And if a girl is going to travel for an hour in a taxi, what would traveling in an hour, I mean, that would be a lot of money, right? So it's relative in Ukraine. If a girl lives out by the airport and she's going to come downtown, that's a 40-minute taxi ride. That's probably going to cost her 400, 500 Ukrainian hryvnia. So I mean, that's probably typical. If she lives downtown and she's going to go downtown by taxi at the end of the night, that's probably 100, 200 hryvnia. What I thought is that it makes more sense for us to prep you guys to get things straight and to avoid any kind of silly scamming behavior on the part of taxis or restaurants when we talk specifically about your tour. So if you go on a tour with us to China, or you go on a tour with us to Ukraine, or you go on a tour with us to Latin America, wherever, some of that information is unique to the area. So I think I'm going to bypass talking about scams like that in general, because it's just very hard to give you good, reliable information while being very general. Instead, when you do a tour with us, I'll prepare you for your tour, especially if you're going to our tours in Ukraine or anywhere, quite frankly. And I'll give you that information as it relates specifically to the environment that you're going to. Guys, look, I'm telling you right now, it's so easy to avoid getting scammed. Just listen to me. Date the women who are age appropriate. That will eliminate a lot of them right up front. Number 2, go to the places we tell you to go. Simple, and there are a whole 10, 12, 15 of them in every city that we could easily recommend to you, and our staff will recommend. And just ask your dates if they want to go get pizza at Mario's, or do they want to go to La Caffa Cafe and have coffee and dessert? Do they want to get a drink at the pub on the second floor of the hotel? Do they want to eat dinner at the restaurant, in the lobby? Just do the stuff we tell you to do. The women who are dating you for legitimate reasons are going to have absolutely no problem, and that is the vast majority of women you're going to meet. If you meet a little knucklehead who wants you to take her to the most expensive restaurant in town, don't do it. Just follow that advice and you'll be chill. You'll be fine every time, I promise you. So yeah, there we go. How are we doing, guys? Great questions tonight. We got a few minutes left, and I would like to answer more of your questions, but sadly, I don't have any. So you've got a few minutes to text your questions to me. I will be doing a seminar in Baltimore, Maryland on June 10th. And you are welcome to come to it. Good news, it's free, and it will be absolutely freaking fascinating, and you should come. There's nothing like it. The seminars that we do, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like me giving a seminar. There isn't. There's nobody out there. How many guys do you know who are out there saying, hey, come to my dating seminar, my free international dating seminar. I'll give you tons of information, and I completely don't care what you do with it. But a number of you are going to want to travel with us after you get this information, because it's too uplifting and too enabling to ignore, and that's the truth. Rather than sit there in the darkness, peering into your computer, chatting with somebody whose name you've never heard, whose voice you've never heard, who you don't really know, and spending all of your resources on doing that, why don't you come with me, get on a plane, and go get your girl who's waiting to be discovered by you. I can so help you do that. It's easy. It's easy. Come to my international dating seminars, and let's talk. Plus, I'll give you some free lunch. Can't beat that, right? Baltimore, Maryland. I have a posse in Baltimore, man. I've got some good friends there. My friend Andre, right? My friend Phil, I bet will be there. Maybe our friend Bob from Philadelphia will come down. But we got peeps, man. I got some good guys who'll come. So you can meet some guys that have traveled with us before who can speak to that. And a bunch of you who are interested in traveling with us this year have already made a reservation. I'm going to have 30 guys at that seminar, I'm sure of it. So come to the seminar in Baltimore, Maryland on Sunday, June 10th, 11 to 3. It's at the Hampton Inn over by the airport on Elk Ridge Landing Road, and just make an RSVP so I can make sure I have enough seating and beverages and pizza, whatever we do. So just write to me, bud@loveme.com, and make your RSVP. There will be a seminar in Dana Point, California on June 23rd, which is a Saturday, from 11 to 3. And guys, I'll tell you what, that's going to be another great seminar. So Dana Point, California, sandwiched conveniently between San Diego and LA, I believe. From 11 to 3 on Saturday, June 23rd. I think we just nailed down the hotel for that today, so we'll have that up shortly. But those dates and times are cast in stone. So if you're going to be in Dana Point or can get to Dana Point, California, 11 to 3 on Saturday, June 23rd, I'll be there to give you a rockin' seminar on international dating, all right? So great free information, great video, tons of questions answered. You can challenge me a little bit. That's fine. Come to the seminar and challenge me. I get challenged all the time, right? Very strong in my foundation, you will find, and that's good news for you, because I'm not going to feed you marketing crap. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, even if it's hard to hear, so that you can go and be successful and meet these beautiful women who are in the video right in front of you, right? And guess what, guys? Pretty sure I've talked my boss into me doing 2 more seminars in Florida in one weekend in June. In mid-June, I noticed on our calendar we have nothing going on, and I proposed to John that we do a seminar in southern Florida and then maybe mid-state. I'm thinking Miami, Tampa, or maybe Miami, Orlando, maybe Miami, West Palm, something like that. Maybe Miami, Pensacola. What do you guys think? But I think I've got him talked into that, which means I bet by tomorrow I'll have 2 more seminars posted for June in Florida. We got a lot of peeps in Florida, right? If you come to our seminars in Florida, you will meet guys who have traveled with me before who've got a lot of things to say. And you'll meet a lot of guys like you who are just ready to go, or soon ready to go. So I'll have those locations and dates up for you shortly. If you are interested in us coming to your city, you can let me know, bud@loveme.com, and I'll do my best, all right? Yeah, man. Whew. I should lose more weight doing these webcasts. You know that? I really should, man. You should see my seminars, man. I am beat at the end of my seminars. But it's a good fatigue. It's the fatigue of love and brotherhood and good information. All right, let's see what questions you have to close us out with here. All right. Don, my good friend Don says, you know, one thing you can do, bud, with taxis before you take it, just negotiate the price of the taxi before you get in. Very good advice, right? Skolka, how much, right? So you look at a taxi and you say, Hotel Rus, Skolka. And he will tell you how many grivna. I mean, if it sounds good, get in. If not, just go to another taxi and ask him until you find one, right? John says, is the location for Baltimore seminar set? Yes, it is. It's on the website, my friend. I also just mentioned it. So Steven says, what is grivna? Grivna is the Ukrainian currency, right? We call ours dollars. They call theirs grivna. What is the exchange rate right now? You get about 28 grivna for about $1, right? 28, 30 grivna roughly per dollar. Can Americans rent a car in Ukraine, says Ray? You can if you're gutsy enough to do that. Actually, it's probably not a big deal, but I don't know that I'd be really comfortable doing that. Driving from city to city is a piece of cake. Driving in the cities is like 6 lanes and no rules, and it's the biggest game of chicken you ever saw, honestly. But if you're up to it, GPS works in Ukraine beautifully, so why not, right? You can definitely rent a car and drive if you want to, Ray. Be sure. Yeah, all right. Scott's telling you guys to listen to me, right? Scott, yeah, man. One of our tour mates had the most expensive dinners with 2 young ladies. That's right, and that's because we went to a restaurant that I did not recommend, right? Shout out from Orlando, right on. Scotty, you beautiful man. Scott, dude, oh, man, I'm psyched that my boys who are going with me in July are already, right? They just can't sit still. I love it. I absolutely love it. I so cannot wait. I just can't wait for us to do more seminars in Florida before I go to Ukraine in July. We'll get more of you guys in Dana Point, California. I'm going to get guys who are coming to Baltimore, and I'm sure going to get guys coming to Florida to come with me in July. I so can't wait. I love to show you guys Ukraine. I love to have these women meet you when you're positive, smiling, friendly guys. I love turning guys into Bon Jovi. I know that sounds funny, but I love guys who have been beat up and they're not having much fun dating in our culture, putting you in this environment where the women are so thankful for you and happy to meet you. I love that. I love doing our seminars. I love getting everybody excitement. I love stoking that whole entire thing and then delivering it in July. And I know, because I've got my awesome guys going with me. Brandon will be with me, right? My friend David will be with me. Scott's going to be with me. Steven's going to be with me. You guys who are hanging out with me tonight are going to be with me in Ukraine. Carlos, right? We're going to have such a good time. I so can't wait for that. But there's work to be done, man, between now and then. So I got seminars coming up in Baltimore on June 10th, Dana Point, California on June, okay, this is where I'm losing it. In June what? Dana Point, California is June 23rd, which is a Saturday from 11 to 3. That's cast in stone, guys. I'm telling you, we'll have the hotel up shortly. And I'm going to add 2 more seminars to Florida tomorrow, probably in that middle weekend in June. So check it out, guys. We got a lot of stuff coming up for you. Ryan asks, how is AFA different from other tour companies? You know what's great about that question, Ryan? Number one, we do this. How many tour companies do you know who do this? By the way, there are no other tour companies that you've ever heard of, right? Here's us, right? Get out in front of you, do the seminars. We're as genuine and passionate as you're going to find. We've been around forever. We have an incredible track record. We have a huge, huge neighborhood of men who are happy to reach out to you and pull you into this community of positive thinking guys. I think we shoot pretty straight. I really do. I think we're honest about our opportunities, and we have them like everyone else has. Believe me, even after 23 years in this business, we're not perfect, and every now and then we flub something, but man, we own it. We always own it and make it right by somebody. We're incredibly good at that. You could always call our CEO up and get him on the phone. I am readily accessible anytime you guys want to talk, unless I'm on the phone, right? In which case, call you right back. But I just think we have so much passion for what we do, and that separates us. And our marketing, our marketing program is not, don't go with this other company and don't use this company and don't do that. We don't slam anybody. We don't need to do that. We're incredibly strong in our foundation. If we just show you our passion for what we do, back it up with tons of video and media and collateral for you to see, so everything I say I can completely back up. That's definitely true. And if I introduce you to the positive thinking men who are part of who we are, the community that we build by being who we are, I'm sorry, dude, but you'd be crazy not to partner with us, and you're not crazy because you're going to partner with us, right? And you're going to go get your girl, and I'm going to be proud of you for that. All right, guys. Here we go. Brandon, if we do Orlando, Brandon will be there. It might be Orlando, Brandon, we'll see. I think we're doing Miami and either Orlando or Tampa. Maybe Gainesville, maybe Pensacola. Anybody out there got an opinion on that? Write to me. But it love me and let me know. Whew. All right, guys, you're wearing me out for crying out loud. Here's the deal. The video with John Adams, our CEO, and Joe, our tour leader from April, we'll have for you next week, I bet, right? I bet we'll be able to show that next week. I think it's a long video, but it's a great conversation. And yeah, so I will not be here next Monday night, guys, but I'm going to record a webcast for you that you can watch next Monday night, all right? My incredibly beautiful, angelic, amazing daughter is going to graduate from university. And I am blessed as blessed can be. I told my daughter that if nothing in my crazy life had gone the way I'd hoped that it would, and plenty has, she definitely would have been enough. And I am humbled and blessed and thankful to God above that my beautiful, amazing daughter is going to graduate from university. And I sure am going to go and just eat up every second of that. Going to see all of my children and my brother and my family and get incredibly grounded. And then I'm going to get right back here and go to work for you guys, right? So I'll see you soon. If you have questions, hang-ups, anything you need in the meantime, reach out. Pick up the phone, call me, for crying out loud. Let me help you, right? And you can always write to me, bud@loveme.com, and let me know how to reach out to you. Thank you for a great webcast. This was incredibly fun. Kirk is the shiz. He's absolutely amazing. Who could do this without him? We'll be back soon, guys, all right? Have a great rest of your week. Get excited about upcoming seminars in Baltimore, Dana Point, and 2 seminars in Florida soon. Miami will definitely be one of them next month. So get excited and get ready, and we'll be talking to you soon. Have a great week.